What's up everyone, welcome to my Asus Zenfone 2 review. This is the world's first ever smartphone to have 4GB of RAM. Unfortunately, I've only got the 2GB RAM variant, but let's go into some of the specs on this bad boy. So, the screen is a 5.5 inch 1080p panel with the pixel density of 403. The screen to body ratio is 70.1%. and it's backed up with Corning Gorilla Glass 3. Now for me, the screen, I wasn't too impressed with it. I found it that it wasn't very bright, that the colors were a little bit off. Having said that though, I didn't see any pixels, and it's a pretty good 1080p panel overall. Now the phone weighs 170 grams. Being such a big phone, it has got that bit of heft about it. But I like that about my smartphones because this one, it's really well built. It's 10.9mm thick, so it is on the thicker side, but it feels very great in the hand, and it's really well built, so Asus have done well there. Now in terms of processor, we are running a Intel processor, clocked at 1.8 GHz and backed up, like I said earlier, with 2GB of RAM. I've got the 32GB variant with me. You can choose from a 16GB, 32 or 64GB storage options. You've also got microSD support up to 64GB, so that's a bonus to have. Now, if we take a look at the back, we have got that faux metal design, very reminiscent of, say, an LG G3. I'll demonstrate here. Look very similar. I guess Asus put the power button on top rather than on the back, and on such a big phone you'd expect it to be on the side because it can be hard to reach up at the top. But faux metal design, it is plastic. You can the back is removable, and inside you'll see the dual SIM card slots. It has got dual SIM capabilities, but the back isn't removable. The battery isn't removable. The back, there's various colors for the back, and there's various colors on the phone. As you can see, I've got the gray variant. There's also gold, red, black. So there's a lot of choice in that regard. And if we look at the camera on the back, it's a 13 megapixel camera. There's no optical image stabilization. It's got 1080p video recording. And on the front, we've got a 5 megapixel front-facing camera, and we're usually accustomed to having a 2 megapixel front-facing camera, so that was a nice touch. Now, in terms of the photos that I took, I wasn't too impressed with the detail on it. I found that the colors were a bit off, and the color reproduction was a bit off, and that the clarity wasn't quite 100%. So on paper, 13 megapixels sounds good, but in real life performance, I was a little bit underwhelmed. Having said that, it's more than capable of doing a good job. Now, we can have a look at the speakers on the back. They're not very loud. You got to get to about 70 or 80% volume to what should sound like 50%, so not the loudest speakers out there. They did sound pretty good though, but you can always use the earphones that they supply you. It's good to see that Asus supplied some earphones inside the box, as well as some instruction manuals, which I instantly threw out, and obviously the wall charger. So it's good to see that they put in some earphones, and some nice looking earphones at that. Now, in terms of battery life, we've got a 3000 milliamp hour battery, and for my usage, I got a full day out of it, so I was pretty happy. I'd say battery life would be about standard for what you would expect. It has got that dual SIM capability. Now, in terms of which is a nice touch. Now, in terms of software, it's running Android 5.0, and right out of the box, there was a little bit of bloatware. Luckily, you could uninstall most of that, and The rest, the apps I hid away. But you can see here, if we double tap on the home screen, this is just straight out of the box, and the level of customization straight out of the box is fantastic. So, you know, you can change virtually everything with it right from the get-go. I've currently got it on, card flip. There's all sorts of animations that are pretty cool, and you can change the theme. You can change the theme, so you get a handful of themes there. I think I've got the iron theme on at the moment, and icon packs. You know, nice little detail to customize the phone to however you like it. I like to keep mine really simple, just 4 icons on the home screen. But overall, I'm very impressed with the Asus Zenfone 2. It's not a mid-range device, but it's not a high-end latest and greatest device. So it's in a category in between. I kind of look at it as like a B+. And the best thing the Asus Zenfone 2 has going for it is the price. This unit cost me $350. That's Australian dollars. I got it on eBay. So I'm getting 2 gigs of RAM, 32 gigs of storage. I think in the US for $299, you can get the 4 gig variant, and you get 64 gigs of storage with that one. That's just incredible value. And overall, I'm pretty happy with the usage on the Asus Zenfone 2. Like I said, it's not the latest and greatest smartphone, but for the average consumer, it will definitely fill all your smartphone needs. And I would recommend this to anyone looking to buy a smartphone on a budget. And this Zenfone 2, you're getting the best smartphone bang for your buck. And I really wanted to give it a 9 out of 10 rating, but it was just lacking that little bit of polish. Gonna have to get an 8.5 out of 10 rating. And Asus, if you're watching this, you probably aren't, but you should be very proud of your efforts with the Zenfone 2. There's only a few little minor details that I didn't like, such as the capacitive buttons. The growing trend nowadays is to have on-screen buttons. But then you actually do get a little bit of extra screen real estate. But however, that made the phone a little bit bigger with the chin. So yeah, whichever way you look at it, I was also disappointed that the buttons didn't rotate. Obviously not in that instant, that wasn't a very good example, but you know, when you're watching videos, buttons didn't rotate. I thought that was a bit clumsy, and I didn't like the power button. Very flush, and was hard to press. Luckily you can double tap to wake it and put it to sleep. So overall, really impressive phone, and thank you so much for watching my video review of the Asus Zenfone 2. I'll see you guys in the next video.